But let me ask you guys something. In terms of the bringing a striker that's above Jackson level, right? Do you guys think there's strikers out there that are
Yes.
actually like you bring them in and they're going to be
Yes.
clear above?
Yes.
Gyökeres, right now,
But there's a
Gyökeres.
caveat with Gyökeres, right? Because he's doing it in Liga NOS. I'm not trying to discredit Liga NOS, but there is that hesitancy. What? Did I say it right? I did.
I don't even know what you said.
Liga NOS.
I don't think Prime was paying attention.
okay.
No, I'm laughing at this Kaneki cooking. But regardless, what are we talking about?
No, I'm
We're
just
talking about
saying,
strikers. This
the
comment.
strikers that come
Yeah,
in
yeah,
and are
that's my
clear, clear of Jackson's level.
Yes,
I
that's
like
what I kept
Gyökeres,
saying in the
but-
summer. Remember?
Yeah.
I kept saying in the summer that I don't want any of your bullshit Seskos or whatever.
Yeah,
You
Sesko's
give me a
definitely
striker that's better than Tammy. Or sorry, better
I'll
than
be
Jackson.
able to, yeah, I think I'll
Bro,
be able
he's
to
slow.
answer this question. It's like I said earlier, I'll be able to answer this question in better, like with a better, from a better standpoint at the end of the season, because my answer will change depending on what, or vary depending on what Jackson finishes with. If Jackson finishes with 18, 19 league goals, which he can still, then I would say probably not, or there are like guys that can compete. If he finishes with 14 again, then absolutely yes. Like Osimhen, if he finishes with 14, then I'll come on his stream and say Osimhen's better than him, like a level at least better than him. Same with Gyökeres, like even same with others, like Isak as well. Like there are guys that are definitely able to compete with him and are probably better than him. Like
Isak's better than him.
I know I joke
But
about,
that's the thing.
about it, right? And I say that they're close, but Osimhen's probably better than him, right?
Yeah.
It depends how much better than
But-
him is the thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, Scott, right? Because Jackson has actually like jumped up levels. Like if you're talking about at the
Yeah.
start of last season, yes, Gyökeres, Osimhen, all these guys are better.
They
But
are
right
levels
now,
better.
from what we've seen from Jackson and the potential we know he can get to, I don't think it like. I would love an Osimhen, I would love a Gyökeres, but like, would I really want to spend that amount of money when I know Jackson can get to that level by maximum end of next season? No, it'd be a waste.
Yeah, it kind of that's why I say it kind of depends for me on what ends of the
Yeah.
season with, and it's just the money because like me and Joey have talked about this. Like if Osimhen is there, right, and it's going to cost you 50, 60 mil, I'm paying that money and I'm getting him.
Mhm.
Like if it's going to cost you 50, 60 mil, that's something I'm doing because that's not a lot for a guy that is very good and has scored goals in multiple leagues. Like he scored double digits in every league he's been in, I think, outside of the Bundesliga, but he barely played for Wolfsburg.
I think
But if it's going to cost you 80 to 90, that's where I say no, thank you. That's where I hold off and go, okay, maybe not. But again, it's like it's just a case of we at least need someone. Obviously, it has to be the right guy, but it has to be someone because it's too much right now. Just for absolutely not Vlahovic. He's been shit.
I think for me, and it's a good point you brought this up, Scott. Like we do have to look at it at the end of the summer. We got to see how the season pans out. If Jackson stagnates here, right? Which it would be a damn shame if he did. I don't think he will, but if he stagnates here, then I'm looking at Osimhen. I'm looking at Gyökeres and saying, okay, these guys are probably better. But if it goes the way I expect it to go, where he's going to beat how many goals he had last season, and he's going to develop and become a better player, right now, if we look at the stats right now, Osimhen is arguably not better than Jackson right now on form. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that Osimhen is better.
After today, he is. I think he scored a goal today, so he's on 10.
Yeah, maybe after today, but for the longest time, I wasn't really convinced. Gyökeres, time will tell. Has the hype died down ever since Amarim left? Is he a system player?
No, he's still scoring.
Is he?
Yeah, I was gonna say he wasn't until I think again, either today or like yesterday, he got a hat trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duran.
Marshall.
Duran is
This
One of
Duran
the-
is
iffy
I
because
like
of
Duran.
the money.
Do you
I
know
love
how many
Durant.
goals he's on right now in the league? He's on
He's on, like,
21 league goals. 21 fucking league goals in
That's in
17
like
games.
17 games, isn't it?
Yes, 17 games, 21 league fucking goals
know,
for Victor
but
Gyökeres. With
Darwin
three-
Núñez put up really good numbers for
Yeah,
you know,
it
they-
is
they
all
Man,
need
it
Nunes
is.
as
put up
well.
26.
And
No,
it's-
Nunes
it is
put up 26. No. Nunes put up 26 in 28 games. He has 23 in 17 games. He's gonna fucking shatter that shit. He's gonna
That's fair.
fully
I
blow his
I
season.
do still
There is
think there
a
is like you can have
trepidation.
reservations because of the
Yeah, I
league
have
and everything in the
reservations,
team,
yeah.
but like it's one of those I want to as I want to wait and see. The Duran thing, by the way, I love Duran. No one knew who Duran was before the season.
Yeah, it's not babysitting of Jackson. It's
unless
just
you watch MLS, I'll be so
genuinely-
honest. Unless
yeah,
you watched
go ahead.
MLS, you had no idea who Duran was before
No
the
one,
season.
no one knew. No one knew. It's not the babysitting of Jackson. It's just that I don't know. Like, obviously, I'll bring in another striker, but I can't sit here and say Liam Delap is clear of Jackson. I can't sit here and say that Osimhen is clear of Jackson. I can't sit here and say that Gyökeres is clear of Jackson because maybe Liga Nostax, right? Like, I have my reservations. Obviously, you can think that based on the stats, but Darwin Núñez had similar stats, and look at how he's playing out of Liverpool. There is reservations to be had there. I can't sit here and say Kolomoani is clear of Jackson, like the realistic links. I can sit here and say that Isak is clear of Jackson. However, Isak is
I
150
disagree.
million.
I'm sorry. Isak's not clear. I don't think Isak's even better than Jackson. I'm sorry. I'm a massive. For me, Isak's you guys overhype Isak, bro. I'd be so real.
What do you
I
mean
think
he
the issues
put
with
20 goals
Isak is
2
that he's
seasons
never
in a row?
fit
know.
for a whole season.
I don't.
His fitness is
He
an
only
issue.
started really scoring goals recently, bro. I look at Isak. I'm like,
Last season
I
he
look
scored
at
20
Isak.
goals
I look
anyways.
at Isak,
You sound
and
a
I'm
little
like,
muffled, CP.
for the money that he's gonna cost, I'm not buying it. What 120 mil or whatever?
150.
I'm not
We're
buying
No,
not
it.
saying
it's
you
insane
need to
amount of
buy him.
money.
We're saying in general, as a player, he's better than Jackson.
Even in general.
Don't stop
Nah.
it. Fuck off. No, now you're being disingenuous. You're being so
Again,
disingenuous.
I'm just giving my personal opinion. Meh.
That's
I'm
it.
sorry,
That's
no.
insane. The man who can score with both feet, score outside the box, and head the ball. Yeah, I'm fucking taking that guy.
Good for you. Isaac just only has like a year or two over him. I don't think he's clear. And I barely think he's better. I'm not taking Isaac.
I mean, that's fair. That's your opinion. I think when fit,
I
Isak
think
is a
people
really good
don't
striker.
actually, because he doesn't play for a top 6 side, people don't actually consistently watch Isaac. They don't.
Yes,
Because
no.
the misses,
Newcastle
You know what?
is
Misses-
6.
You.
the misses,
With these
the
strikers,
misses-
just quickly,
hold on, the misses this guy has, if he was under a microscope and he was Jackson, people would be ridiculing it. But because he's at Newcastle, it's not a problem. But once you play for a top 6 side, you can't be doing that because you're going to get ridiculed.
Mhm.
I do hear that. The thing I'd say as well with these strikers, and the question I'd have, because I was thinking about this with Jackson, can you definitively say, with the strikers we're mentioning, that we win the league title? Because like,
No, and that's what I mean.
of all the ones we've mentioned, I think there's one who I'd say we probably with, and the rest, all of them I'd say I don't know. To either know or I don't know. The only one for me who I think you could say, yeah, we probably would, as long as we create enough chances for him, is Osimhen. Like, outside of him, Gyökeres, I don't know. Like, because again, it's the league thing, and like, I just don't know. Isak, I don't think we would. And Jackson, I don't think we would right now, as we're speaking on Sunday the 5th for us in England.
Oh, hold on,
Like,
Scott. Why wouldn't we with
And
Isaac?
that's what it is. I don't think we would. Personally, I don't. Again, it goes back to like, I don't think he's that much of an upgrade over Jackson to the point where, like, and I don't think we would.
Scott can
I
say
don't think.
it.
I don't think he's. I don't think with Isak, there's like, I think he's a very good player and I rate him, but I don't think he's the gap. I don't think he bridges the gap in terms of from a striking perspective of winning us the league.
I'll be
And as I said,
honest
I
with
just
you.
think like the only person right now that does potentially is Osimhen. Potentially.
And why is it Scott can say this and it's okay?
No.
No. If I had said everything Scott just said, that Isak's not. I said Isak's overrated. Scott just
Wait,
said
no.
Isak is not much better than Jackson, and the only guy that could win us a league title is Osimhen. If I said that, I'm crazy. You have CP butting in and talking about how he missed a chance in the AFCON final. Yeah. But Scott says it. And it's okay. Cool. We have our favorites off the show, people. Our favorites. It's fine.
I'm not saying anything.
Listen, it's funny because I think all of us have different opinions on this.
Wait, hold up, Scott. What did you say with regards to Isaac? I missed that part. Apologies. What did you say?
I
said
don't
that-
think so. I basically with these strikers, I asked the question of like the question comes back to me with strikers because the ultimate goal for us should be winning the league.
Yeah.
With the strikers we have or are looking at, do we win the league title? And I think the only one I can say that we would potentially is Osimhen. Gyökeres, I'm still unsure. Like the goals, I understand the goal scoring rate is nuts, and it is nuts. The league thing and who he's playing for, like, just still gives me pause. So he's like, I don't know. With Isak, I don't think we would because I don't think he's that much better than Jackson.
What the?
Jackson right now.
You're telling me a guy who can score from every fucking angle of the fucking pitch, who scored 20 goals in this league. That when we were talking about Osimhen, no, you said Osimhen, and we agreed has scored only 20 goals in his league once in a good league. Isaac is going to score 20 goals 2 leagues in back to back, and you're telling me he's not good enough. But fucking Victor Osimhen with one season where he scored 24, and now he's playing for Galatasaray, the most OP team in the Turkish league, with 10 goals, is now fucking better than Isak. That's fucking insane. He's on 13 goals right now. He's going to score 20 in the season in the league for Newcastle.
If he stays fit.
Yeah. He was injured for the first month, and he's still on 13.
Yeah, no, I know, it's impressive.
Exactly.
I just don't know. With Isak, maybe I'm missing something. I rate him, but there's still something missing for me. But I don't. If you think
Osimhen is good enough to win the league, Isak has to be the same. What is this? What the fuck?
I did forget to mention, and this is my hot take. I think we all have different takes on this. I personally think, with the way the league's been going, I think with Jackson we can win the league.
First.
And I mean this next season, right? I'm not talking about this season. I think there's a player there that is good enough to win the league, because I don't think you need the best attack. No, but just in terms of like
strikers,
I don't think you need the best attack to win the league. I think to win the league you need a really good, if not the best, defense.
I agree with you, Marshall. Can I just say as well that like this season, I think Jackson can end it with 20 league goals, minimum 17, right?
Sure.
If Jackson can be getting 17 or 20 consistently, and you have Palmer who's going to chip in roughly the same amount, then you need at least 10 goals or more from maybe one of your wingers. Yep. So I need
Madueke.
I'll say
whether it's Sancho, Neto, Madueke. Yeah, I need them to start chipping in with goals, because our backup striker we bring in, he can get me like 5 to 10. That's fine, but I need my starting players. I need someone up, because I don't want this thing where I'm relying on Jackson and Palmer, and when their goals dry up, all of a sudden I'm an enemy of center forward. Suck your mum. And all of a sudden I have no one else I can get goals from, like today. And that's why I've as much as what it is with Madueke, and I hate Ahmed, I've wanted Madueke to get more minutes in the last few games, because at least he provides an actual goal threat.
I think, as we just on that thing with what Prime said, I agree. I was going to make this point, and I always go back. The season I always go back to it when I make this point is the season City won the league with no centre forward. They had either 4 or 5 players with 14 plus goals. Yeah. Like their top goal scorer didn't have a lot of goals. I think their top goal scorer was either Gundogan or Sterling on 16, but they then had another 4 guys. I think it was Sterling that season. They then had another 4 guys on 14 plus goals, 14 or 15 goals.
And that's they did that like 3-4 times, by the way.
That's fair, but like, the reason I always go back to that season though is they played that whole year playing no striker. They played a false 9 the whole season. They didn't have a striker in their team, but because everyone chipped in with goals, they won the league. And that's the same thing of like, I think, and that's where it comes back to with Jackson, where it's like, I think you can, I kind of agree with Marshall. I think you can win the league with Jackson in the team if he's getting you like 17, 18 goals. That's but if that's the case, you have to then get 15 to 20 goals from Palmer. You have to be getting 10 to 15 goals, probably 15 goals from one of your wingers, at least one of your wingers, which we're not from either winger. Any of our wingers, actually, forget any of our wingers. You have to start getting goals from other places. And this goes back to the thing I said earlier, where like, if it's not Jackson scoring, and if it's not Palmer, but even he hasn't been doing it recently, there's no one scoring in our team.
Yeah, and everyone's saying Esteban. No. This is what I know when people don't fucking watch. Because I've been watching the Brazilian league since 2011. When you're giving me Esteban hype jobs, I was one of the first ones to hype him up in Lewis's stream. He's not going to be a fucking messiah next season. Please, people, give him a year to adapt. Please, for the love of God, don't do the Nkunku God treatment. For the love of fucking God, I'm seeing in the chat he's going to score 15 fucking goals.
But hang on.
Fucking insane.
Yeah.
He doesn't fix the issue, by the way. Like, yes, he's a goal scoring winger. He came third in the goal scoring charts in Brazil with 13. So if you like take away how many he probably
He was
gets,
injured for a
because
bit, but yeah. Still
yeah, but if you take away how many he probably gets in the league, even if he scores goals, he's probably getting like 7 or 8 in this league at best.
yeah, especially in
By
the
the
first
way,
season.
Which would be a fantastic return. Would be a fantastic return. That doesn't fix what I just said. That's half of what I would expect a goal
For a
scoring winger to
backup
get.
player
To win.
who's going to be getting minutes off the bench, maybe he'll start against like a Sunderland or an Ipswich or whatever in the league. We'll start Carabao Cup, FA Cup. That's fine. Like again, I've been telling people, Esteval, be prepared that he's going to look like what Vinny looked like at Real Madrid for a season or two. I'm prepared for that. That he's going to look bad for a year or two. Because that guy looks like a twig. That guy is going to get his neck snapped. He needs to bulk up a bit. He needs to get used to this league and used to living in this country. Just from a cultural perspective, it's a massive, massive switch. So be prepared that he's not going to be that. He's not going to be amazing for a year or two.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's going to be as bad as Vinny because I've watched.
No, I'm not saying as bad. I'm not saying as bad. I'm just saying he's going to be like up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah, of course. He's a young kid. I'll be honest. Next season, I'm expecting 5 goals in the league from him next season. That's it.
That'd be great. That'd be a great return. But I go back to what I just said. If we're talking about goal scoring winger, by the way, if he gets 5 goals in the league, that I keep bringing this up and I'll continue to bring this up, that would match Neto's best ever goal scoring season in the league. He's been there. That if he got 5 goals, he'd match what Madueke is currently on. And to be fair, Sancho has had a season where he got 17 goals in the league, which was not. And then I think he had another season he got like 14 goals in the league.
14, yeah.
But this is the issue where it's like, even if we get that striker, which we definitely should, but even if we get the striker that's better than Jack, say we got Osimhen, right, and he gets you 20 to 25 goals, which I think he probably could in this league, we still need our wingers to step up with goals.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because there's going to be games. There's going to be games where Osimhen just like he doesn't score or he's off.
Yeah, or he has games. He has games where he's marked out, like he has both centre backs on him, and he just doesn't get the chance, doesn't get the space. At that point, the next place you should be getting goals for is the 10. But if it's the 10, it's probably a similar issue if they're in it. It's crowded centrally. If Osimhen's getting marked out, say we have Osimhen, it's crowded. The next place after that is the wings.
But that's why, like, I brought up what I brought up, right? It's that, and people like to delude themselves into this idea that, oh, bringing in the striker is going to be clearly better. He's going to score every single game. Like, it's not how it works. It really isn't how it works. These strikers, and actually, this actually brings me to this comment that I wanted to bring up. It's not even a comment. It was Maresca's comments, so it is a comment technically. And Maresca, we did enough to win the game today. Between the first and second halves, we created enough chances to win the game, but we need to be clinical. Unfortunately, at the end, we conceded, but overall, I think we did enough to win the game. I agree. 3 weeks ago, we were talking about a title race. We knew the Newcastle and Villa would be there. City 2, for me, it's not about the table, but it's how you improve things. Needing to be more clinical. It's important to create chances because that means we are doing the right things, but then you need to take those chances. We tried to be even more intense during the week when we are preparing for the game, even if the intensity or the intention is already top. It's something we need to improve, even if we are one of the best teams in the moment in terms of scoring goals. And then on Jackson, for a striker, and this is true, sometimes they will score all their chances. Sometimes they don't score. He had two or three clear chances today, so that means he is there and ready. Hopefully next time he can be more lucky. And I get that. It's not necessarily luck either, but there is some, striker instincts that need to kick in. But in terms of what I brought up earlier, right, which is unless there's a striker that is clear-cut better than Jackson, which the ones that are out there aren't realistic signings for us. In my opinion, Isak is one of them. He's not a realistic signing for Chelsea. Haaland, I don't even know if he's overall a better footballer. I think he's just a good goal scorer and he needs to be fed as well. Sure, but he's also not a realistic signing. There's not many out there. So that's why I'm saying, like, I think in terms of the ones that are realistic, that I think would help us out for challenging next season and for Champions League and bolstering the team overall, My three are Liam Delap, Osimhen, and I think not Alfonso Davies, Jonathan David. These are the three that I think are really good shouts that would benefit this team, that will eventually become that top striker, in my opinion. Jackson more so than maybe Jonathan David, and that you can build something off that, and eventually you will have that type striker, the Isak that people are asking for. And you can still challenge for the league, because I don't think all goals need to come from the striker. I think overall what you guys said, improving on the goals all around in the attack is going to help us. I mean, we see right now how City are suffering trying to funnel goals just through Haaland. And if Haaland's off form, then what are you going to do? How are you going to get your goals?
I was waiting because obviously I know you guys were in a bit of a blow, but I would honestly say, in terms of strikers right now, honestly, if there's someone that you think is available on loan, or if you can get this guy, obviously find him. But I think realistically, we're not going to get a striker anyway. So I think there's no point of us discussing a striker in this January transfer window.
I'm sorry,
so,
Ahmed. I just need to clear something up. I'm really sorry. Jason, it's not that we're backing Jackson. It's that who out there is clear of Jackson that is the solution. The best thing you can do out there right now is get someone that can compete with him. That's really the truth. I'm not backing him. I'm not saying like, Jackson will be fine. Like, no.
What I would say though, is that if we bring in Delap, I think we need to realize competing for a title with Delap is going to be very hard for us right now. I think there needs to be some level of honesty next season with Delap. Compete the title is going to be quite hard for us. No, because I think the reason why I would say that is that Delap's probably going to need some time because he still needs to develop himself too. That's one thing I think we need to be somewhat honest about. I get what you mean by Osimhen. I think Osimhen at the end of the day, whether I like him or not,
get someone to compete.
You said that?
Not you. No.
Oh, sorry.
Like,
whether or not, whether or not,
I agree with
obviously, you, obviously, you know my fault. I've probably, if to bring in Osimhen, you have to bring in Osimhen. I think of Jonathan David. That's a personal preference of mine that I just don't rate.
I understand. Yeah,
you know what I mean. But again, that's why I said personal preference. But if he comes in and he does a job for me, I can hold that smoke. That's the way I would put it. But I think for me, at the end of the day, guys, though, realistically, Jackson, it's not just, I think for me, as of recently, I would actually argue, been just the goal scoring that I think's let Jackson down. I actually would argue it's been a performance aspect to his game that's been letting us down too. That's probably where I would go actually specifically with him, because there's been quite a few games, even if I remove the 4 games that he had losses in a row, where I felt like his presence hasn't been felt as much. Like there's been quite a few games where I felt that, and I think a bit that has been playing a big part for us in terms of at least the way he's been playing for us at the end of the day. And I just look at it. I look at the wingers that we've got. I think a problem that we've got about wingers is the wingers we've got are Croatian wingers, barring obviously Noni Madueke, right? I think we'll admit that Sancho for me is much more of a creator than he's a scorer. He needs to same with Neto. Is it? Can you hear me now? Yeah, but but I think you guys get the point, right? And again, who do you bring in for goal scoring? Because I know we all have our different thoughts and opinions, and that is that. But realistically, guys, we need to look at what's going to happen in January. And for me, it's only going to be I think the only thing that comes in is a centre back, and if that's the case, I then need to be looking at you, Maresca, and asking the valid question, which is, we got to start trusting some of these guys. If you don't think Nkuku can work in there, let's at least have a game of Felix maybe in that. I know I don't like that idea on a personal level, but we need to start trying other stuff to make stuff happen when things are not going well.
Sticking to the striker conversation, Ahmed, I heard what you said. You don't think we can compete with Jackson. However,
right now though, I'm talking about right now. Yes.
Right now.
Yeah. Yes.
Right now. I get that. Would you say Arsenal are still in a title race?
No.
Okay.
No.
Would you say they're competing though? And they have been competing the last 2 seasons?
Getting hype.
They haven't. They have, technically speaking. Yes, I would say yes. They have. Yeah.
Liverpool, you think are probably going to win it this season?
Yes.
Do both those teams have strikers?
But I think I know the point you're getting at, and I know you've said the point already, and I agree with that point. I think the issue for me is that we have the opposite problem though, right? Because we've got guys that create too much and not score too much. That's why that's why I'm speaking about Jackson specifically, at least because we are opposite to a lot of the teams that you're talking about, where at least they've got guys that can score a lot of goals. Our issue is that we have the inverse issue, right? Where we've got a lot of creators, but on the wings, but not enough shooters. Does that make sense? Like,
Also,
so go ahead.
I think it's a little bit different as well because, like, especially with Liverpool, they don't have a striker, but they have a goal scorer in Salah. They have the best player in the league.
Exactly.
And it's like if Palmer,
right? So yeah,
no, but if Palmer was doing, like, this is not me blaming Palmer, but I'm just saying if Palmer was scoring the same number of goals he was last season, I think the talk about Jackson, he's highlighted less because the onus on scoring goals is less on him, right? But because Palmer is not a consistent goal scorer in this team, and I don't think he should have to be, like, he shouldn't have to be, not again. That's the issue. Also, the Arsenal thing, they still need a striker. They've been calling for a striker because both their strikers aren't good enough. And that's the thing is, like, even whether they're competing, like, they're only competing because their defense is so good. And you see this season, their defense has dropped off. They've gotten worse.
Scott,
So,
I
like,
disagree with you.
they still need a
Palmer
striker.
and Jackson are consistent goal scorers. But you know what the thing is? It's stupid to...
I have to disagree.
Okay, when I say consistent,
No, let me make my point.
I know. Finish your point, Prime.
I mean, in terms of, like, I think it's crazy for people to assume that a player is going to score in every single game and score every single chance. You're going to have off days. You're all going to have off games. But what helps is if Palmer or Jackson don't score, at least have someone else or two other people who you can get goals from. Your center back, that's why I want a center back that has aerial threat, because we can trust him to pop up with a goal if needs be. That's what the old Chelsea teams had. It's what the old Man United teams had. It's what City had a few years ago, where if Haaland's having a bad day, KDB will pop up, or Gundogan will pop up, or they'll score from a set piece from somewhere. That's what you need in your team. And that's what Chelsea should have been having
but
past few games, where if Palmer and Jackson are not scoring, we can win the game, say, 2-1 or whatever, or say against Everton, we'll win the game based off, say, a Colwell header. We don't have any of that.
But if I may, Prime,
Right, when I said about the consistency thing got away with Palmer, I mean more in the sense of if he was goal scoring on the same level as Salah, like if he was doing what Salah's doing this season,
No, but
that's what I mean. Because then you look at what Salah's doing. Like their next best goal scorer is Diaz. He's on less goals than Jackson.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to hit the point just quickly, Prime, about the centre backs before I go back to the point on Jackson. Yeah, I think our problem. I actually am a bit mixed on this take because I feel like the centre backs at times are not even getting good balls into the box. I would actually argue a lot of the time. I know, like the Palmer crosses, I'll be honest, are not that great. Enzo can probably put in a cross or two every now and then, that's great. But like the crosses into the box, I'd probably say have been quite subpar. I don't know about you guys, like in general, like there's not been that much into it. So like I feel like with that one, I'm a bit more 50-50 on it, if that makes sense.
Ahmed, was it you or someone else? Was it you or Jimmy or someone else? I heard that like we saw it today. We don't do enough low crosses.
That's what. Yes, that was me. Remember after the team before, bro. No, we do not like. I don't know what it is. Yeah,
like you look today, like the Sancho one was kind of more of a pass. The Sancho one was kind of more of a pass, but even so, that's low across the ground to Palmer. He scores. The second one to Palmer where he misses was a low driven from Neto. It's like if you're not getting any luck in the air, and especially against teams that obviously we played, Everton, you're not going to Brentford. We didn't really like. If you're going to play these teams that are good in the air and have tall, big centre backs, pause. Like the best thing you can do, especially like you saw today, right? Like Jackson in terms of all-round game, I think you said this earlier, Ahmed. I disagree with you slightly. I think his all-round game, he had Lacroix, especially first half, on strings when the ball was at his feet and like he was challenging with him. It's like in that situation, put the ball across the box for him. Like don't ask him to like win balls in the air.
But we know that, but the thing that's what's confusing me, Scott, a lot of the time, bro. Because like I feel like the attackers know this. Yeah, on some level, we know that he's not an aerially dominant. So why are we not doing that often? That's what's confused me for so long against these low block teams. You're not going to beat them in the air unless you've got a 6'5" dominant physical guy there. Like it's going to be very hard to be able to beat guys in the air. Pause. But like I just think for me personally, it just comes down to this again. is this a tactical thing, or is this like something that the Marshalls just like put balls into the box and the players themselves just putting it into the air because that's what they know what to do best? So like again, I don't know if it's a miscommunication thing, or is it just something that the players are just doing stupidly. But again, I just think my issue is, let's be a bit more helpful to the striker as well at the same time. But Jackson, for me, if I'm not mistaken, is not scoring his last 4 games.
Yep.
Now, listen, we
No.
can say that he's gone through a drought, which is fair enough. But at the same time, you know, this game, I think we can say, okay, sometimes the striker's not going to be able to save you. For example, this game. But like, there's been other games where it's been like, I need more from you there, bro. Does that make sense? I need you to be there, bro. I need you to be there, because like that's really the next level for Jackson, right? Where when we're not doing well, can I rely on you at times to do that job for me? Does that make sense? I get there's going to be games where I can't rely on you, and so I need Neto to be pulling his weight, Sancho, Madueke, the guy that was meant to be here but is currently got doping charges, right? But like, you know what I mean? But you guys get what I mean, right? I get what Prime's point is, but like for Jackson to reach that next level, I know Prime will agree when I say this. There needs to be a game where I just need you to do the job, bro. I just need you to be there, bro. Does that make sense, Prime?
I agree, but there are certain games where Jackson does do that.
But I feel like the last...
remember against Brentford, Jackson wasn't having a good game. The goal he scored, magic by himself. The game against the goal he scored against West Ham, the second goal I think he scored against West Ham.
Leicester even.
What, the one we got put through, the 1v1?
Yes, where he still had work to do. Like, he's doing that this season, but the thing is, in games like this where we drop points, people will complain. I remember against Crystal Palace.
Why are you hiding the career comment?
Ahmed, we know what Marshall is. We know what Marshall is. Cleveland. We know what he is. We can't change him. Anyway, the game against Palace at the Bridge, Jackson scored. He had one other chance.
JC, he was caught in transition.
And people still blamed Jackson for that game, why we drew. Even though Madueke had more chances that he missed.
That is fair. That's a fair point.
But this fan base will always blame Jackson, and it's annoying.
But you know what that plays? I think again, this is what I look at the ownership, and I know Scott's heard me say this before. You guys have all heard me before. They have let this brother out to dry. This is the second season they've done that to him too, in my personal opinion, where they've just put the onus on him. They put the pressure on him. And listen, sometimes pressure builds diamonds, but sometimes pressure breaks bones.